Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So we're on module 5, and we've been discussing about right view, right concentration. And now generally this is a good time to have a bit of an open forum to people to share, discuss, and any inquiries, any questions. It's also a very broad forum. Might be other things that are interesting to people or relevant. So any questions from the group we've got here in Philippines this side? Yes, please.
So I think the last thing that we talked about like the possible pitfalls.
The 10 Defilements of insight.
Yeah.
Those are? Yeah.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like too much mindfulness is also a bad thing.
Yeah, the word that they use is recollection, so too much recollection. So in the sense that mindfulness, when it's correctly done, does bring you into the present moment, but you do use a form of remembering, recollecting. But wrong recollection means that the object is wrong, so people are like looking about their past, they're looking about the past, in some way. It's kind of too much using the memory, and they miss the present moment, and they end up thinking too much recollecting, basically like that. And it can also mean, I think, too much recollecting of teachings, too much recollecting of theory, and then it starts getting a bit that way as well. But it's basically too much use of the memory and not enough awareness of the body, not awareness of the flow of the present moment, not enough relaxation, not enough being with the body, not enough being with feelings, not enough being awareness of the 6 sense doors. And instead of that, the recollection part is overriding everything. Let's say sometimes it can be like who I was, my past relationships, like my parents, my childhood, my background. I want to know my past lives. Or they're over-recollecting, they're overusing that. So who I was, all the habits I've ever known about me. I used to be there, I was here, and I was. And this recollecting factor, it's just overworking in one way or another, like that. Or the desire to recollect is too strong. So people think that's where the insight is in memory. That's often the thing like analysis, past analysis or something like that. It's not where the right form of balance is in Vipassana. So trying to look for things about your childhood, trying to look for things about your personality as it used to be. These, the Buddha said, are not there, are causes for proliferation, because there are endless amounts of it, and it doesn't actually give insights and solutions.
So if I'm meditating and then I catch myself in one of the defilements, how do I get out of it?
If it's an emotional state, like joy, calm, or the effects of faith and something like that, or raptures and so on, awareness of, so that you're able to develop the power to be aware of an emotional state, either at the physical sensory level, so that you can feel goosebumps and so on and be aware that that's what they are, but also the joy state of the mind. That's difficult because it's not tangible, it's something like water, it's something invisible out of the way, but you can still be aware of it if you tune in carefully enough and say, yeah, there's joy here, or there's one of the other ones like satisfaction is on here, or happiness, calm. So you actually monitor the state of the mind, how it is, or the absence of those as well. That's one thing. If you find yourself actively recollecting and working in the past and thinking about and dwelling and desiring to know things deeply about the past, and that's where your habit has become to do, to analyse the past, then you can use the awareness of thinking. Is good. So when on this map that we've been introducing this area. So if you find that you're thinking of environments, places you used to be as a child, you've been thinking, analysing, looking in there, concentrating. All you're doing is concentrating on a concept, an environment, or people. You're constantly thinking about a parent. Actually, you're just thinking about people. It's a concept. So awareness of thinking. That's mindfulness of that. Helps to see that that's what's happening in the present moment, is awareness of thinking, awareness of reflecting. So if you develop, rather than developing reflecting, develop the awareness of reflecting, then you've got much stronger actual mindfulness. Awareness actually always happens in the present moment. The subject and the content of the reflections might be 1991, 1988 or something, but that's the content. But to be aware that this part, awareness, that's where the attention has gone, rather than with the body. The body's contact to the physical environment always happens in the present moment. It's rupa, not nama. Rupa always happens in the present moment. This physical rupa that is affected by temperature, whereas thoughts and ideas different. Yeah, so that's how you can. One way is using the awareness of reflecting, awareness of conceptualizing, awareness of, and the identifying. If you see memories that there's the I am gone in. I was, I will be, I am, I was, I will be, I am. Identify, and then any emotion that's coming up with it, anger, fear, hate, or desire, or restlessness. Just to spot agitation and restlessness is a good one. That means unmindfulness is there. Strong collectedness means that and then mind can use that investigating quality, over-analysing, and then it can go off on memory lane and looking for answers and sort of psychotherapeutic, psychologizing kind of way. Just be aware of it, just be aware of it. That's not the idea. People can go off on a retreat thinking that's it, and they go, okay, I'm going to spend time with my issue, my pet issue, work it out and look for, get answers and find the origin of that, resolve my such and such relationship issue. So it's not it, it's not a wrong aim. That isn't to change the aim. Right, I was powers up and I am in the present. And I am in the present also fuels anxieties about I will be, what will I will be. So this three, and whether the I am and the I was depends, on the body, one, how I used to look, how I used to dress, how I used to the music I listen to, feelings, perceptions, mind states, six sense thoughts. So all of the five aggregates, that identity can latch on there, and that depends on this analysing. Does that answer your question somewhat? Yeah. Is it off target or on target?
You broke up the distinction between recollection and mindfulness. So.
Yeah, they use this like we just had drinks and said recollecting about the use of food. Now the words of the Pali chants, being mindful of the food, is pati sankha yoniso. So there's a very important word. One of the 16 ñānas is the wise reflection. So after like fed upness and weariness and the desire to escape, pati sankha ñāna, the reflection on all your habits and your lifestyle and the way you're going, the direction of your life and values. This is called pati sankha ñāna, the knowledge of wise reflection. So actually, U Pandita's assistant explained this very well to me, which is something like that when you're about to go to speak and you go, hold on a moment, just a minute, what's bubbling up in my mind to say, and hold it right there, and what else could I say? This is pati sankha ñāna. So people who are compulsive, obsessive, they've got to say what they've got to say, they've got no choice. People who are wise can weigh up the value and the timing and the options, and then they can say, I won't say anything, I'll shut up, Actually, I'll change my mind what I was going to say. No, what I would say was quite, I'll say, I think it's timely, and I'll switch it on. But they've got this overviewing, and that's part of the nature of pati sankha ñāna. When it's yoni soul, it's wise, and it's wise reflecting. Pati sankha yoni soul. Talking about the food or the drink that's being reflected about. So this wise reflecting, recollecting, remembering. A lot of times it's sati, there's a word mindfulness used as remembering. So it's like remembering to, remembering where you are, remembering who you are, remembering your obligations, remembering. There's lots of things to remember. All the Dhamma, list of Dhammas, if you remember the impermanence, remember you're going to die, remember you're going to get sick, remember to be mindful, remember about the five aggregates, remember that you are aware of the mind state, not the look of the person, remember their emotion, not the physical appearance. Things like this, they're all remembering and recollecting and all part of the whole developing of wisdom. So from that kind of recalling, recollecting. Also recollecting, so as if the mind's all fragmented like a broken jigsaw puzzle, just recollecting it, all back together again. And then mindful minds are like that. Samsaric minds are all shattered jigsaws, broken crystals. So like healing and pulling it all back together again. Samadhi is like that, it's collected, calm. Vijnana actually, when it's pure, it's very, very purified and clarified. Vijnana is something like spherical. It's not so much like there's the ears, there's the eye, there's the tongue, there's the body. It's not. That's how it is generally. They're all separated. But when in right view, they're very collected and very, very whole. It's like one of the meanings of kasina. Not in terms of the object, but the observer's mind becomes whole, healed, and collected. Yeah. So the distinction between recollection and mindfulness. Mindfulness is a very overused word. It's a very, very big, generalization.
It always has some kind of esoteric connotation.
Well, mindful. People don't even know what the mind is, let alone they're being full. It's full. Yeah. How can the mind be full? There's a sort of, is it being really careful? Does it mean you've got to remember everything? Does it mean you have to turn the lights off? And if you don't, you weren't mindful. It's like. So it's being, mindfulness is a bit of a difficult one. Sati. Gradually, so there's sensing out the meaning of what it means. But recollection of brevity, recollection of impermanence, recollection of dukkha, the nature of dukkha. It helps to see through. One of the characteristics of is to be able to see through appearances, penetrate superficial appearances.
Is that the divine eye?
No. Only the characteristic of mindfulness. Just that you can see through deceptive, glamorous appearances. You can see through glamour. You can see through the colours. So you're not deceived by colour, like ooh, beautiful. No, you're not deceived by beauty. You can see through it. So someone has a beautiful physical appearance, but there's all that rotten food, decaying food in there. They'll have to go to the loo pretty soon. And the first morning, their mouth will smell like a frog pit too. It's just like. Everybody has illness, everybody ages, this person looks beautiful and fresh like a grape now, but they'll look like a raisin prune sultana later on. It's not to be deceived, to always have that wisdom, to be able to see through appearances. So the beautiful sounds aren't the first thing that candy, sweetness and pleasure doesn't captivate the mind. The mind has this wise quality to be able to not get pulled, it can stay without getting dragged by the six senses. But you can see through appearances. See through. Yeah.
The 16 ñānas.
Ñānas.
Are they a step-by-step thing, like a stage that you have to go through in your vipassana path? Similar to Jhāna 1, you have to be at Jhāna 1 first, and then Jhāna 2, and then Jhāna 3. But does it mean that in the ñānas, you also have to go through each of these stages? You can't skip and you can't.
No, I mean you can't see about the insecurity of phenomena until you've seen that they're rising away. They're rising and passing away.
Okay.
So you can see rising and passing away. You go, "Hey, life's wonderful. Look at it. You know, it's just like surfing." So, that's not the idea. You know, it's like your way, like your everything in your eyes is like surfing, so you can have fun. It's not the meaning. You know, like you look deeper. You know, whoa, you know, it's actually pretty scary. It's not as shallow as that. You know, like wait a minute. And then you see that everything is dissolving. You go, yeah, but I'm looking at it and I'm safe. You know? It's all dissolving. No, wait a minute. Where you're standing keeps dissolving, and there's no you observing either. Wow, you know. And then it can seem like a flood. You know, like a dangerous typhoon. You know, like, and they say, no, this is no joke. And I'm stuck in the middle of it, and there's no escaping it. And every way I run, you know, wait a minute. No, I'm going to go and watch a movie. I'll be comfortable. But wait a minute. Everything's still going on. So, and it's that these are universal characteristics. So, like normally we're not open to seeing the universal characteristics, but you see it for a while, and everything's dissolving, and then we sort of close down and go back to our identity, or back to our creature comforts, or back to whatever else it is that we're building our security on, like that. And then we meditate some more, and you look a bit longer, you know, expose yourself more to just reality without coating, just insight into the mind meeting matter, and just only looking very, very closely, because that's all it's based on, is matter meeting mind in a constant stream. And you think, yeah, but that's pretty, you know, it's boring, or it's scary, or it's boring, or it's scary, or something. And you go, okay, well, I'll change it, I'll look at a different one, and then try to find variety or interest, or, you know, all those things, and then more and more of this. You know, I'm fed up with it. You know, you feel like very, very fed up, and that comes out of seeing these previous three. One of it is rising away, but when you look closely at it rising away, you go, what else is there? You know, and then you see, well, that's worrying. But you know, then you feel insecure, and then you feel fed up because you're insecure, and then you blame it on the meditation, or stop meditating, and then look for something else, and then I think, well, it's always I'm going to find that everywhere I go, like that. And go, where else am I going? Keep staying in. I'm bored there. I want to.
Those emotions come in. They have to come in those steps. Like
yes,
you have to feel disgust first before you feel the next stage.
Yes, yeah.
In the next stage, it doesn't can't it happen like you feel fear first, then you feel disgust, or those stages.
Well, the one you said was disgust. Fear came before that one. So like you might go rapidly through, see rising and passing away, rapidly through the next one, fear, and then disgust. We can jump quickly to another one and then stay in that one for quite a long time. Or get up, you know, the disgust one, you might just stop meditating and you go back to a state of just nervousness like that. You might stay in that ñāna for quite a while until if you meditate stronger, you go through the disgust and stay stronger with it, and with better balance and more power of resolve. Or you might find yourself just eating sort of, you know, Pringles and go, I'm not meditating anymore, I'm giving it up, I want to, you know, do something else, and run away from the meditation. Fear stays in the mind, and then so it's unskillful, and it hasn't, but a strong resolve, all the factors in balance, staying with what you learn and managing to go through, including staying with it and recognising and get familiar with. So hold on, I felt like this last time. No, this is a result of the meditation. This isn't. This is alright. This doesn't mean I'm doing anything wrong. That's also the role of the teacher. Is you might come and say, I just can't concentrate. And you go, good. It's definitely meditating, because otherwise, you know, this stage that's what you expect to happen. You know, very weak concentration. Keep trying to concentrate. I'm used to concentrating on you know, my breath, and it's nice and steady. But I can't concentrate on anything. It keeps disappearing. So you know, it means it's working. It means it's insight.
It said that it's actually possible to reach Nibbāna without the Ñānas. It's the dry insight, right? But is it possible the other way around, wherein you reach Nibbāna without passing through the ñānas?
Yeah, if you develop them in the previous life.
Only if you. It's
yeah, for example, if you were a stream entrant 3 lifetimes ago, and in between lives you develop Jhāna non-stop, just because it's pleasant to live like that, but you're assured already. So that person gets born and they just practice Jhāna, and then they go quickly into, if you're passing the centre, they go straight through and get the next level. So yeah, technically it's possible. Like there was a novice who was born
but in some
when he was 7 years old, he ordained, and he attained arahantship with four consecutive moments of magga, one after another.
But you would have to pass through the ñānas in this lifetime or in previous lifetime.
Yes. Yeah.
You can only skip it if you've already done it in a past life.
Not
Yes.
optional.
So it's really not optional. You just have to.
Right.
You've done it in a past life.
Yeah,
But
but
Jhāna.
yes, but the strong.
But Jhāna, is it possible to skip that one without even attaining Jhāna in a past life and still eventually reaching Nibbāna? Can you skip Jhāna? Is it possible?
Yeah,
like, even in my
many
past
people do.
life?
Many people attain stream entry without any jhanic abilities. They just start practicing dry vipassana, and they go and they attain that. But then, I mean, the problem after that is the way it can be a bleak feeling. You know, so it's good to have jhana practices or cultivate them straight after that, so that you've got a resting place. Stream entrants tend to circulate the ñānas months and months. They can tend to keep, the reviewing keeps going.
Just like going up and down those stages.
Yeah. It shocks the system to attain Nibbāna. It's a shock, you know, people have never experienced something which isn't matter of mind. And so it makes people review everything. They might go back to their job, you know, like, it's meaningless, you know, like it was meaningless, but they hadn't seen it was meaningless, but now the meaningless of it, or their family, they were really hoping to become ultra mum or something, you know, that's really secure, or their parents always expected them, you know, some, or their job, you know, gave them great kudos and prestige or something. They go, that's not, you know, it doesn't mean anything anymore. And so they get this sort of like that. The removal of those false senses of security or false senses of self or false senses of permanence or false senses of satisfaction, the unreality of them becomes a shock. So the more clinging and dependency was, then it can be difficult to adjust. There's some good work on this done by Willoughby Britton online called the Dark Side of the Dhamma, which is where people go in practice and they suddenly find, whoa, that there's actually aspects of meditation that are dark, they're frightening, they're gloomy, you know, they bring up negativities, or they make people go through some quite rocky stuff. They were only expecting bliss and light and wonder and love and joy and only things like this. So it's good to be aware of it so it doesn't come for a shock, and that a good teacher should make people aware of that aspect of it. Otherwise, you know, it's people like going into battle and say it'll be all glory, you'll come back heroes, and actually when you get out there's a lot of mud and a lot of blood and a lot of, you know, trouble and difficulty and long waiting and gloom. You know, it's part of the practice that you find that. This is why I say it's good to practice jhana practices and vipassana in balance, and then you can keep the two well regulated, and you can use the calm so you're fresh when you go to your insight and you know what you're doing and you're up against. And when you've done enough, you're battling with the insight and your defilements, or you've just done simple erosion of the duality, me, you know, self and other. You've eroded that, weakened off those things. Go back to practicing and keep your mind sharp and clear and rested, and also keep a sort of balanced life around it as well, suitable. That can take a little while to navigate, you know, all those things, the role that works and supports, and how you're going to live and balance your friends, and you might be totally the wrong friends, and you just go, I can't, you know, I don't fit anymore, sit in a pub, and, you know, can I talk to you about non-self and vipassana? People are like, come back. Nobody wants to know you because you don't fit in anymore where you were, so you have to sort of navigate then to where you're going to fit in, and it may be ordination, it may not be, maybe whatever. There's no one answer to that, but it has to be dealt with. So it's depending on the power of your wisdom, and not some people don't always, or the attachment. So some people might get stream entry, but they still have strong attachment to any one of the sensory things. They might love photography, they might love music, they might love dance, they might love food, they might love a load of things, they might love, you know, sensual pleasures and sort of things. So stream entry is only on the beginning of it. It's awakening to the holy and the purification path. So it's more on the next two levels, but more commitment to what might even be needed in monastic life if you get beyond those points, because the rest of the life just it doesn't work, because it's too much about time and space and money. Time is money, space is money, and all those sort of things, and earning and your worth and value and all the things that the whole 10 worldly winds, 8 worldly winds is so dominant that you need to go into this angle where everything revolves around Nibbāna, and it's, you know, time is not mind is all about momentary values.
But, okay. Is it possible for jhana alone to take you to stream entry or to non-returner?
I don't think so.
Still not. You still need.
I think if you get very good at the noting, it's called the Vipassana Kasina, but that's called the Vipassana Kasina. Yeah. So I think if you go up through the jhanas like we do, like through kasinas, and then through space around, and then through noting the six sense doors, then you can do it that way.
But if you attain jhana, even jhana 4, for example, that's still not stream entry.
None of the jhanas are stream entry.
Not even. So you can actually go up to all the way to jhana 8 and still not be.
Yeah, that's what the Buddha said. All you're doing with jhana is there's your object, and here's you as a mind observer, which is a bit ruffled. As you get closer and closer to your object, and get more and more associated with it, until this gets calmer and smoother and more refined, and then you become unified with the object, and then stay there as long as you possibly can. But that's all that's happened. That's not Nibbāna. And then from a very, very refined state, you come back down again. But you haven't seen anything of that 5 aggregates. Nothing about the difference between. All you do is you forget your body's there, and you forget about the environment more and more, where your mind is unifying with a mental-made object. So the consciousness, which is doing all of that, is getting lighter and refined and less bothered by all of the 6 sense doors. That's primarily what it is. And you either do that from concentrating in on an object, out on the environment in the 360 sphere, and you can get the consciousness to go very, very, very collected and very, very refined, and it'll go very, very super refined state. But that's nothing like when you start seeing all 5 aggregates.
So it just helps, I guess it just helps see those 5 aggregates. When you do your Vipassana meditations or practices, then it actually makes the realizations more rapid once you attain jhana.
Not necessarily. Jhana can get in the way. I mean, because if people are so used to this microscopic, powerful, like telescopic, laser type meditation, you start asking them to spread the awareness all around across the body, like that, which is actually that's a very good platform for seeing this shallow type of flickering consciousness, which is wide based, not super zoomed like that. Or get objectivity and say, yeah, well, I'm at that casino now, and this other casino, more systematic, and switch one to another. When you're very clear about the 2 different types, you know where you are, and you know which one you're going to, and you've mapped it very, very clearly. That's the ideal. People often can't tell the difference.
So is it right to say then that the samatha or the jhana meditations are just simply something to make the ride a bit more smoother and more comfortable, but it's really the Vipassana practices that actually get you to Nibbāna?
Yeah, basically. It's not only that, they aid, like by doing the Asubha meditations, you aid the mind to change its habit and drop away. And to be able to have tools that you're going to be able to change the mind, If the mind's obsessing sexually, you can just drop it and then think about rotten corpses or something like that. You know what to do and you know how to do it, like that. If you're just ruffled and your mind's buzzing and jumping around the place, you say, well, the mind's just going all over the place. Get a kiss here, get a kiss here. Okay, well, 20 minutes later, you're calm. Your mind's under control. You manage to do that, so you've got confidence, and you know you can do that. And go, okay, drop the casinas now. I'm going to go into the body and rising and falling. So, you need those kind of controls to have these enlightenment factors. Otherwise, it's very random. Otherwise, you can't really say that the 37 factors are yours. You need to be able to say, right, I'll be able to switch on things off, and you need to have a reasonable amount of control over it. Otherwise, it's like sort of like waiting. Someday you'll write a good book, or you'll just come up with a brilliant song. It's very random. It shouldn't be random. The Buddha was able to emphasize this systematic nature of the Dhamma, and all of them were able to do that.
So the meditation, the corpse, the different types, is that a Vipassana practice or a samatha? It's a samatha.
The samatha practice, you're using controlled. You're controlling the content of the thought. So all of this is a box of different types of thoughts. These are images. So if you fill that with pictures of corpses and you concentrate only on here, That's samatha. You're concentrating very, very strongly on this. So you're not paying any attention to the feelings, you're not paying attention to the body, you're not paying attention to the other states of mind particularly. You're using very strong, controlled willpower to hold it on one subject. In that case, it's a subject. So this corpse, this drowned body, this bloated face.
I always thought that the reason why you meditate on corpse was to remind you of the that one day impermanence, one day
no, that's a separate. There are two different
rising, falling.
Okay, well, one is Marana sati. That's the recollection of death. So that's one thing. The other is Asubha meditation, which is the deliberately taking an unbeautiful object as your thing to counteract the effect. Like if you love chocolates and gatos and all that, and you just go like. But if you look at the bin, full of fish and fruit and smelly, stinky stuff like that, you just you look at that for long enough, you lose your appetite for food. But if you look on all the gatos, so that's Asubha. But if you look at all the decaying stuff and say, my body will one day rot like that, I am prone to death also, I don't know how long I've got, then you know you're doing Marana sati. And you don't know how your death will come, or I'm certain to have disease one day, or those kind of things. On aged people and aging, the rotting or the decaying, aging process. The certainty of death when people are caught up with pleasure living. So that's a good session. Should we call that session a close, and we'll do a guided meditation on samatha and vipassana combined. So thank you very much for listening.